Hey gang, it's Dana Wilde. All right, sit tight. We are working with Laura's audio, but in the meantime, while we're getting her audio straight, hang on, let's just see if we got audio before I do my are you there, Laura?
I'm here. Can you hear
Oh
me?
no audio. Boo. Check the settings and see if you can get your settings going. And while you're doing that, I'll do my introduction. If we can't get Laura's audio going, then I guess we'll just have to have her back. Let me see what I can do to make this happen. While she is working on her audio, we'll take her off stage so she doesn't have to feel like nothing worse than being there like working on your computer while people are looking. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, everybody. Come on in. I'm so glad to see you. You could hear her? Hold on a second. Hold on. Just a moment. Say something once.
Can you hear me?
Maybe all this time, maybe it's been me. Hold on.
Okay.
We're going to try something new. This is how you do guerrilla filming. You know what's possible is maybe my earbuds went dead after all this time. Should we try this? Just a moment. Okay. You want to say something, Laura?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh my gosh. All that time we thought it was your earbuds and it was my stupid earbuds.
All right.
How funny is that? This is when it pays to be a brain trainer. Massive stress. And
I was just going to say that.
The time is clicking down, and here we are. Okay, sit tight, Laura. I'm so happy we figured that out, and I'm so happy it was me. Doesn't that feel good? Hi, everybody. And you know what? You solved it all. All of you that are here live, we wouldn't have known that, except you were here going, hey, we can hear her. But to get your earbuds out, they're dead. You know why? Because you've done 6 interviews today already. All right. So let's try again. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to have you here. And I'm so happy that you keep supporting interview after interview and keep coming in. I absolutely love it. I know you're having as good of a day as I am. How exciting has this day been? We've heard from so many people. Oh my gosh, this has just been such a day of nuggets and so many interesting things. If you haven't done it yet, look at the links in the description because you got to go get your freebies. Laura's going to have a freebie here for us that you're going to hear about in a minute. Make sure everybody go opt in for the summit because you get freebies from everybody we heard from today, everybody from the whole summit, and from our sponsors. And remember, if you haven't done it yet, join the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club because when you do, I will send you the pen of expectation in the mail. Everything you write with it will come true. And yes, I do ship internationally. This is a limited time offer. If you're already a member and you're saying, hey, I want that pen, go check out the club. I made a post about that. You can get one too. Right now, we are going to hear from Laura Zimmerman, who is the author of Mom on Empty. If you are a busy mom and you feel like you don't even have 2 minutes for yourself and your life feels like chaos, Laura can help you transform your life into calm with simple, powerful mindset shifts. We're going to hear all about her journey. Excuse me. And we're going to hear about how you can reclaim peace and joy for yourself, even when you've got a crazy life and you've got so much to do and you don't want to get rid of any of it. Because, hey, let's face it, we love our families. So how do you find that time for you without a moment's hesitation? Let me, without further ado, welcome to the stage, Laura Zimmerman. The crowd goes wild.
Thank you so much, Dana. It's so awesome to be here. And I just so much appreciate you having me.
Oh, I am so happy that you're here. And I love that we had that little demonstration for everybody about how you stay calm in the middle of chaos. How perfect was it that it was for your particular interview? Because that's your specialty. Like, really, you are a busy mom. You've battled a lot of things. You've been through a lot of different transitions. You recently are just recovering from cancer. Like, you're not a stranger to having adversity in your life, and yet you manage to always land on your feet. You know, let's talk straight to moms to start out with. When they're the moms that you help and the moms that you see in your sandbox, what are their lives like? Like, what kind of problems are they facing?
I think it's often a feeling of just like this, there's the storm around them. They're a hamster on a wheel. Their lives are just hard hitting all the time. Their schedules are full. And there's just this constant noise that's going on. And it's like life is just hitting me and it feels a little out of control. And I'm not showing up as the person that I know that I can be deep down, but I just don't know how to be that person that God built me to be and that I really want to be as a mom, as a spouse, as a, fill in the million blanks that moms are. And so that's the person that I'm here to help.
Is it just the speed of it? Is it just the speed of life that gets in the way? Like, I know myself, sometimes if I get too busy, I'm just not as present as I want to be, and I know if I can just slow down my mind, even if I can't slow down my calendar, that it helps. So do you think it's the speed, or do you think it's the not being present, or what is it exactly that is the core of the problem?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything, honestly. It's, I have this phrase like slow down to speed up. But for a lot of moms, it's like, how? How do I slow down? Like my life can't stop. My kids got to be here. It's just this constant laundry list of either things you need to do or places you need to be. And it can become quite difficult just to figure out how to slow down. So I think
And
it's that.
And why is it that slowing down is the solution? Because I know you're a big proponent of that. Why does that work?
I think it's because when you slow down, you really give your brain rest and you give yourself just that hot moment to just ask yourself the question of like, what's important here in my life? Or, how do I want to show up in my next interaction? I find in my busy days, I'm just going from one thing to the next to the next. And if I don't stop for just that hot second and just say, okay, I'm going to close this thing that I just completed and I'm going to like take a deep breath, center myself, and I'm going to show up the person I want to be in my next interaction. And I truly believe that it's little tiny things that you can do throughout the day that can make a tremendous difference in your entire life.
Yeah, I really want to reiterate what you just said, because everything you just said was pure perfection. Because people think, like, when you say to somebody like slow down, or all of that kind of thing, they're thinking like, well, what do you want me to do? Meditate for an hour in the morning and go for a walk, for an hour. And they think like it's this, when we say slow down, that it means, but you're just saying, look at, if you can slow down for 60 seconds, this is going to revolutionize your life. And everybody's got 60 seconds. Like, that is such a good daily practice. What you just said, like, take that moment just in transition. What other kind of thing would be an example of something that doesn't take long, but would help a mom transform their lives?
I think journaling can be really important. And one trick that I love to do, and sometimes I forget about it and my life seems to crumble a little bit more when I don't do it. Before I go to bed, I think about, okay, what's really important in my life? And I kind of recenter myself on the important things. And I also have ways of trying to figure out what's important, because sometimes I think life gets going so fast, you don't even know, everything seems important. And it's not true, but we kind of lose sight sometimes on what is important. But if you can figure that out and then ask yourself, okay, tomorrow is a fresh new day, but before I go to bed tonight, I want to come up with 3 things that help me move forward in the things that are important, right? It could be faith, it could be family, it could be your career, or as an entrepreneur, your business, your volunteer activities, whatever your important things are. Like, okay, what 1 thing or 2 things or 3 things, no more than 3, can I do tomorrow that will move me forward? And all I have to get done are those 3 things, and that is it. Yeah. And what happens is you go from this list of never ending 10,000 things that you have to do, creating that mom on empty, and you get down to 3. And if you do those 3, everything else that you accomplish the next day is just gravy. It's just the extra that you accomplish. But when you can focus on just those 3 super important things, they might be small. It might just be going to the grocery store to feed your family. But if it's important and you're doing it, all of a sudden you start to feel momentum and there's a shift that happens. And 3 is reasonable. And we can all do 3 things.
Do you know, I live and breathe and live and die by this. Absolutely. Except I do it in the morning. And so I really like this idea of doing it the night before, like really training your brain, setting your brain up for the next day. So that's really, I love that. Very, very smart. And it does make you feel good because if you list those 3 things, then you can quit whenever you're done. Like you can be like, my day's done. I did my 3 things. I'm finished, and or like you said, it's gravy. So this works. Like this is a great tip. I love this tip.
Well, and I think when you wake up out of bed as well, and if you don't have those 3 things in front of you and life starts hitting, the kid comes in and they're like, Mom, something happened, whatever. And you're distracted instantly. And if you don't have time to get back to that list, it's not happening. So yeah, I think for moms in particular, doing it the night before when okay, kids are in bed, here I am. Yep. It just sets you up for success.
Yeah, totally smart. I absolutely love that. And so I want to come back a little bit to the journey you've been having more recently. You've had some health challenges. Thank goodness all is well now. But I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like to already be busy, already have all this stuff, building your business, trying to find little pockets of time to build your business, and then to be hit with a health scare like that. How did you manage to keep your mindset on track through that time frame? What did you do?
Yeah, I gave myself a lot of grace. I just, it came back to the important things, and I knew I had to take care of myself first. If I wanted to show up for my kids, I had to take care of me. Yeah. And so that's the thing that, I really want to drive home to moms, that you have to take care of yourself. If you want to show up the best person that you can be, no matter what, if you have a cancer diagnosis or, you're just trying to get through your day, doing things to just take care of yourself is really important. And it doesn't have to be big, huge things. A lot of times it's like, oh, I need this huge vacation and then I'll be okay. Or, but it's really the small things. And it's just really thinking about what is important, because there's so many things we do that just aren't important. And, there's keeping up with life, and there's all these opportunities that hit us, but we don't have to say yes to it all.
Yeah. One thing I've heard you say twice now is knowing what's important. Like it feels to me almost like that's square one for you.
It is.
Is like if you don't know what's important, and it feels to me like you've kind of got 3 in your mind, like these 3 things are important. Maybe you've got 5, I don't know. But it feels to me like your step 1 advice would be figure out what's important to you, because that's your North Star.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's sitting in quiet moments, even if it's just 2 minutes, and just coming back to that constantly, because when you're faced with something, that hits you, like a volunteer opportunity, say at the kids' school, it might feel important because it's for the kids, but when you come back to your 3, and if it doesn't fit into that, it might be a no thing. And it might be a yes for somebody else that you might be taking away from them. And so I think it's really kind of sitting and knowing what your gifts are, what your abilities are, and what lights you up. Yeah. Because when you can show up and do things that are lighting you up, all of a sudden you're just a different person in the world. You're more the person that you were built to be. And and not just doing the things because it was an opportunity that sounded like a good idea at the time.
And also just because we want to say yes, we want to say yes. And I'm just as guilty as anybody of saying yes to way too many things. If you don't have that North Star of like, does this fit into my top 3? If it doesn't fit in, and not because I made it fit in, because I figured out how to be clever and fit it in, like really, is this moving that forward? So I'm wondering how important that is when it comes to finding time for your business. Because one of the things I we've worked together at a, pretty high level in some of the courses. And one of the things I love about your business and about your determination to build your business the fun, light, and easy way is that you really are like, you know what? I don't have time for anything. I've got this much time every day for my business. So I've got to find methods that work in this much time, every day. And so you're good about saying no to stuff that doesn't 100% align with a feel good for you and doesn't align with your gifts. And you train your brain and you say, like, so it's kind of like, and I'm sorry this question's getting so long, but it's kind of like, I know I've got this much time. I know I can use this method to build my business. So now I'm going to train my brain to make that method be successful for me. And do you have any advice to moms who are trying to build their own thing on the side so that they can actually feel like they're making forward movement?
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, knowing that you can do it and you should do it. If you've got that burning desire deep within you, and let me tell you, I have come from a place of just pure despair and like not knowing like what the next steps should be, and just feeling like in this funk and in this like downward spiral, and like losing a piece of myself in motherhood, which is not the place that I wanted to be at all. So I think it's really knowing you can do it and knowing that you don't have to do it all, but what's that one next step that you can do? Is this going to bring you closer to building that business or that dream? And it's sat deep within me for a long, long time. And I knew I wanted to bring it forth, but I didn't have the time and I didn't know how, and, all of those things. And so it was training my brain to say, you know what, it doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to, be this big thing. All I have to do is one little step at a time. And, it's how I wrote my book, one thought at a time, one word at a time. It was 15-minute chunks here and there. Just, yeah.
It's funny because we think of our dreams as big dreams, but you're really just saying they're really just little steps.
Yeah.
They're not, the big dream gets done because you're doing these little steps. It's just like you don't need the hour to meditate or the hour to walk. If you just take the 5 minutes to do the little thing toward your dream, you get there and align with what you're meant to do, your passion and what you're meant to do. I think also, I alluded to it a second ago, about all the different things that you've gone through and the path that they've taught you. Like you've had really big challenges. You lost a child at 3 months due to a heart defect. Yeah. And we just talked about being diagnosed with cancer as well. And so this road that you've taken, this has not been easy. And you've come out of it with a story to tell moms of all kinds, whether they've gone through those kinds of challenges or not. How do you think those experiences that might have really knocked the legs out from some people, how did that shape you so that you could move forward and bring this message to the world that if you can do it, other people can do it too? How did that happen?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was, those were tough, hard-hitting things. And, they still impact me today. It's no joke, no doubt, those are tough things. I think it's just knowing that you're worth it and you can do this. And, it's moving forward through it and deciding that my life doesn't have to be stuck in muck. It does not. I choose joy. I choose to find it. Even when I didn't know how to get it, I knew I wanted something different. I didn't want to live in a life where I just felt sad, horrible, depressed, all those things. And so it was that choice and that just drive to be like, this is not the person God built me to be. He built me to be somebody better and different. And I just had to really dig deep, and I had to sit with that for a long time. And then I started discovering you and mindset, and it changed everything for me. And I will be forever grateful for that, because I knew deep down I didn't have to be that mom on empty. And I was built for more. And I want to help other moms on that journey if they are feeling anywhere near that empty bottom feeling.
Yeah.
And help them find the joy, you know?
Well, I just feel like, first of all, thank you so much for that shout out. And what's so exciting for me about the club and about having people like you in it is that, we're all committed to this message, but we're all bringing it out into the world in our own unique way. And speaking to audiences, you can reach an audience and you can talk to an audience that I can't talk to, that's not necessarily going to connect with me. And I think one of the things when I think about you, Laura, and your business and everything you've said here, it feels to me like you're so purpose driven. Like it feels like that's just, wow, I just feel the passion and purpose just ooze out of you. And so if somebody is here and they're listening and they're kind of new to their business and they're trying to find their own purpose and their own passion, like what would you recommend to say, look, here's a good way to kind of start tapping into it or to start thinking, what are you meant to do? You obviously like you feel so heartfelt. This is what I'm meant to do. How do other people get that same feeling?
Yeah. Well, I remember clearly back when I didn't know what to do. It was like, when am I going to be when I grow up? And I was saying that when I was, 40 years old. And so, it's like,
no, none of us can identify with that. We don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Not at all. So yeah, I think it's just trusting and sitting in a space of like, what are my gifts? What are my abilities? Like really kind of just sit and think through that. Give yourself some time and some space, journal, and just watch for things and opportunities. And if it feels good and you're like, it lights you up, start going down that path and just trusting that intuitiveness that you have within you. And we all have different gifts and abilities. Like you said, I can speak to a totally different audience and jive with a totally different audience than you. And it's true for all the entrepreneurs on this summit, which I think is so cool. But yeah, so it's knowing yourself and getting back to that sense of self, because I think a lot of moms lose that sense of self. And to kind of bring that back and be like, what am I missing? What is burning within my soul that maybe I've kind of kept hush hush or haven't talked about, or I'm scared to even tell anyone that I've got this dream or this desire. Those things, just sit in that space and just know something will come, and you just wait and you keep thinking about it and you keep nurturing it and, start talking about it, get a little bold.
It sounds so good. Like the thing that I feel from you so much as you're talking is this really deep thing of giving yourself grace and giving yourself space and giving yourself time. It feels like the whole world's in such a rush, and it's like, you know what? Just sit with it and trust that it's coming to you, and don't be in such a hurry about everything. Like it feels really good, Laura. I just love all that. So if somebody is listening and, as we wrap up, they can just do one thing, they can implement one thing. And I know you've given us some good things about picking the 3 things at night and setting, before you go into a place, like setting your intention and taking those little 1-minute spots. Is there any other daily habit or any other thing that just words of wisdom that you would say to people who are wanting to really get serious about following their dream and their purpose, or figuring out their dream and their purpose? What would you say?
Yeah. As simple as this sounds, start with just breathe. Just breathe. Like just give yourself that gift of pure oxygen that it will just help to like calm all the nerves and, start to dissipate all the stress. Just breathe and give yourself that moment. Like it starts there. It really does. And then you can build from there. And sometimes it's the smallest things, like I keep saying, right? It's small things. You've got these big stress problems, these big, dreams, these big everything, but it's the little steps that you take that help you to slowly build this thing. And all of a sudden it's rolling and it's a thing. And wow, how did that happen?
Seriously, and his breath just so underrated. Like, oh my gosh, that was so good, Laura. Thank you so much. And really, like, take that second right now. This is something we can all do together. It does sound simple, but you know, it's probably the single most powerful piece of advice. Just breathe. Take a moment and just take that deep breath. Oh, give yourself that gift. You can do that right now. And isn't it nice to make it simple? Like everything that Laura said here, these are things that we can do. These are things that we can do for ourselves, giving ourselves the grace and the space to do it, slowing down. And when you slow down, you speed up. This is when you start to figure out what really matters to you, and you find out what really matters to you, and you start living your life by those guideposts, and you start living your life by what lights you up. I want to make sure and tell you about Laura's freebie here, because I know after hearing this, you're like, yes, please. I would like some more of that. So go check out her 3 instant stress reducers in 3 minutes or less. 3 instant stress reducers, 3 minutes or less. Yeah, that sounds awesome. And you know where you get it? You look at the link in the description, you opt in there. We will send you the link to her freebie. And not only her freebie, but everybody else's freebie who's been on today and the rest of the summit. In fact, if you haven't already done it, today's sponsors also have freebie. Carrie Driscoll has grief guides. I'm going to tell you something. If you have anybody in your life who's grieving, or if you are grieving yourself, or you want to support somebody who's grieving, these grief guides are the bomb diggity. Go check them out. Carmen Kronquist, she has 9 keys to massive wealth. Yes, I want massive wealth and impact. Get those 9 keys. And all of this is free for you. How exciting is that? I want to give you Laura's mantras here because she's got so many good ones. Oh, they're all so good. I'm healthy and wealthy. Yes. I unleash joyful experiences. Yes. What I focus on expands. Slow down to speed up. Life is happening for me, right? Instead of to me. Those are just a few. And I'm sure she is like me and a mantra junkie and has so many more. I know you want to talk to her more. You know where you can talk to her right away, today, right now? Go take her in the club. Join the club, pmeclub.com. Check it out. The link is in the description, and I will send you the pen of expectation in the mail. It's a free bonus for becoming a new member today. If you're already a member, go check out the post I made yesterday because you can have it too. Because with the pen of expectation, whatever you write must come true. I'm going to be back here in 30 minutes. And when I come back next on the Joypreneur Summit, last for today, you are going to adore Jody Crotty. Jody Crotty is an animal communicator and companion animal doula. She communicates with pets, and she especially helps pets in your life who are transitioning. We've got so much to talk about. We're going to talk about intuition. We're going to talk about building a business based on intuition. We're going to talk about animals. Oh, and so much more. And I know you're going to love it, and you're going to love her as much as we've loved every person who's been on the summit so far. Thanks for all these great comments coming in. I just have to give a shout out because we've had so many people saying another amazing interviewer. This is good information for all of us, even empty nesters. How do you like that? I couldn't agree more. Big wow with lots of exclamation points. Just so much good. Exactly what I needed today. Thank you for all these great comments. And you're right. We've had amazing interviews all day. This has been such a joy for me to do. I am so happy that you're here. I'm going to see you in 29 minutes for the next interview. I appreciate you so much. Woo! It's just so good to be a joypreneur, isn't it? See you soon.